Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in for another Cruise with Smooth. Hope y'all doing okay today. So I want to talk about something 100% not political, because I want your opinion. I just thought of this. I just recorded the video about my dad's shenanigans with the rooster, and I got thinking about other interesting stories that he had happen. And this is one of them. So, when he was in high school, he had a little bit of a drive from his house to school. And he had a big land yacht of a car that did not, he said, I could drive that thing like my mother, I could drive that thing like someone trying to win a street race, and I'd get 10 miles a gallon no matter what. So, and this was during the oil crisis in the 70s. So, he was carpooling with some of his friends to and from school. They'd rotate who drove. Well, this one time, it was his week to drive, middle of winter, and I know right where it was, too. I just got thinking about it. I know right where this was. He went to bed before school, and he had a dream. In the dream, he's driving his friends to school, and he comes up on a bridge headed to the school. And in the middle of the bridge, in the middle of his lane in the bridge, I should say, there was a tailpipe that had fallen off of the car. Well, it ain't going to tear up his car, so he gets in, and off in the distance, coming towards him, there's a box truck. So he scoots over a little bit to go around this tailpipe, and then when he gets back over, the bridge had iced up overnight, and so the tail end of the car just stays in the oncoming lane, and he ends up going straight sideways down the road and wakes up, or no, I don't even think he woke up, and he gets hit, T-boned by this box truck in his dream. Dream was over, went the rest of the night, woke up, didn't even remember it, didn't think nothing about it. Okay, that was weird, whatever. Gets in his car, goes and picks his friends up, starts driving to school. Again, dead of winter, cold morning. Gets to the bridge. There's a tailpipe in the road. There's a truck off in the distance coming toward him. He hits the brakes, lets the truck go past the tailpipe and him, and then he gets into the oncoming lane to go around the tailpipe laying in the road. When he gets over into his lane, the car was squirrely. What do you think about that? Premonition? Happenstance? Luck? Given a prophetic dream? I don't know. I've had the same thing happen to me. When I was, right before I turned 19, had a encounter with a patch of black ice. Knocked out a telephone pole with my first truck. So there had been a rash of car accidents that month. We'd had kind of a rough winter that year for this area. And the body shop was busy And so they couldn't get to my truck, but my insurance was paying for a rental. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So anyway, I'm in my rental car. One night I go to sleep. I was working the morning shift at my job as a pizza delivery driver, starter job. So anyway, I'm sitting there at the I'm in bed and I have a dream. I'm in a truck, a different truck, and I'm pulling out of a business, and I'm trying to kind of like look around in the dream, you know, to realize what I'm in, what's going on. And it's just brief, like I'm coming out of the lip of the parking lot onto the little side street to get out of this business. And that was the whole dream. Didn't think nothing of it. Woke up, went to work. Mornings, like you'd show up, you'd prep stuff, and then you'd wait for the lunch rush to hit, you'd deliver a few pizzas, and then that was kind of it. Then you'd prep for the night rush. Well, they're doing construction here, so if you hear me hitting rumble strips, I am paying attention to the road. Well, anyway, I get the company phone rings, the delivery line. Someone else gets it, said you got a call, so I take the call. It's my dad, and there was something in the tone of his voice, because it was my truck, but due to my age, I was paying the difference on his insurance policy, so he was kind of having to handle it. And I'm like, hey Dad. He goes, hey. I said, they totaled my truck, didn't they? He goes, how'd you know? Did they call you first? I said, no. And so I told him the dream, and I said, the tone of your voice, you got news that you didn't want to hear. He's like, well, I told them that you had done da-da-da-da-da-da to the truck, and they're going to reimburse some of the cost of that, because I just put new tires on it. I had to get the differential rebuilt and something else, like within 1,500 miles of me wrecking this truck. And so they were going to pay some of that money. He's like, they're going to figure out, you know, what the thing's worth, and they'll cut us a check, and then we can go shopping. Okay, cool. So I'm in my rental. They cut the check. They take the rental back, because I'd only had, you know, so many days worth of rental coverage. Well, anyway, we go out looking, and I'm kind of wanting something a little bigger than the truck I had. I wanted something with more seats. I had just a short cab truck, and we're looking, and either my taste is too expensive or it's too ratted out, and I can't find that happy middle ground. So we head to a dealership that's about 20-25 minutes away, and we look, and the only thing that they had in my price range was basically what I had, except a little heavier. Single cab truck, didn't want that. And the salesman said, you know, I've got something coming in on trade-in later this afternoon. Got a text message. My car's letting me know. He said, I've got something coming in on trade-in later this afternoon. Why don't y'all come back? I think it's just what you're after. Okay. So we go out, grab a bite to eat or whatever, and we go to the dealership, and it's a 4-door, 2-wheel drive, diesel Ford, and it is just what I wanted as far as the size of it, because I could get my friends in it and we can go be stupid teenagers. So anyway, I get in this truck, and Dad and I drive it, and it's got a couple problems, but the money, they were a little steep on the money because they were a dealership, but it wasn't bad. And Dad's negotiating the purchase because he's Dad, and we end up almost not buying the thing, but we end up buying the thing. They hadn't even cleaned it. So we end up buying this truck, drive it back home, show it to my immediate family, and then that was kind of the end of it for the day. Well, I call a buddy of mine, and I'm going to end up hanging out with him. He didn't have his license at the time, or car. So I call his parents, and okay, yeah, that's fine. And so I'm going to date myself a little bit here. We went to a store that had videos in it that for money you could borrow them for a time. Yeah, weird, right? It wasn't Hollywood, it wasn't Blockbuster, it was Hollywood Video. So we're going to rent a movie, and one of us is going to go over to the other one's house, and we're going to watch a movie and chill. Okay, so I pick him up. He's like, man, this thing is massive. This is cool. We pull into the Hollywood Video store, go in, rent our movie, go to come home, and as we're pulling out of the parking lot, I'm like, this is where I was. This is the truck. The dash was the same. The instrument cluster, the dash, the armrest, the door panel. It was the truck I dreamed about. And the funny thing is, it ended up being a money pit of a truck, mainly because we had ended up buying the subject of someone's neglect and abuse on maintenance. And I was a dumb kid, so the first thing I did was hop it up by 90 horsepower with a performance tuner. So it ended up being a bad investment, but I learned a lot. But it was just weird that I dreamed about that truck 2-3 weeks before I bought it. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Are premonitions like that a real thing? What was it like? How did I know about that before it happened? I want to hear opinions. I just thought that was a weird couple stories I could share with y'all. So anyway, I'm done for the day, folks. Thanks for tuning in as always. I'm going to pull off, grab a quick bite to eat on my way into work, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for tuning in for another Cruise of Smooth. Hope y'all enjoyed a departure from the political. See y'all next time.